Benghazi, there's a new right-wing attack in town. Now they're using Sergeant Bergdahl's release to slam President Obama. And look who's one of the first to run in front of a camera.
I think they have, in fact, negotiated with terrorists, and I don't think they got a very good deal. There's a distinct possibility that these five will, in fact, go back into the battle. I think the whole transaction represents really bad staff work. I'd be very, very careful before you run the president out to sort of claim victory at having earned the release of somebody who, in effect, went AWOL, apparently.
Really bad staff work? Says the man who got us in an unnecessary war. The guy who sent our soldiers into battle doesn't think the president got a good deal. And his wannabe successor piled on, too. Sarah Palin took to Facebook to attack the president, saying he, quote, blew it. And others accused him of helping terrorists.
The president may very well have committed a federal crime by giving material assistance to a terrorist organization.
During the government shutdown, the president said he wouldn't negotiate during the shutdown. But yet, obviously, they're negotiating here. So he won't negotiate with you guys, but he negotiated with the Taliban.
The only reason why this thing is announced, the only reason why this happened is because the president is trying to get the VA off of the front page of the newspapers.
Andy McCarthy, a friend of this program, has got a new book out. He said yesterday...
He says the president should be impeached for this.
That's what he does say. He says it's crimes and misdemeanors.
In my view, it's a very, very valid argument that people are going to start talking about.
Release an American soldier from captivity and get impeached? Some Democrats have raised concern that members of Congress should have been notified about the deal earlier. But this stuff, accusing the president of helping terrorists and negotiating with the Taliban, is really beyond the pale. President Obama said we don't leave our men or women in uniform behind. Too bad so many on the right don't leave any chance to attack behind. Joining me now is former Congressman Patrick Murphy, who was the first Iraq war veteran to serve in Congress. Thank you for being here, Congressman.
Thank you, Rev.
They're attacking the president for getting a soldier home. And Dick Cheney's leading the charge. What's your reaction?
Rev, this is the same Dick Cheney that when he was of fighting age in his 20s and the Vietnam War was going on and everyone was getting drafted, he said, I had better things to do than serve in Vietnam. But yet he wants to disparage the commander-in-chief. He wants to go against a whole military ethic that we leave no one behind. Now listen, whether the sergeant deserted or not, if he deserted, court-martial him, right. Let him rot in jail, let him rot in an American jail. But we bring those who are missing in action home. We do all we can. This was an easy call and the right call done by Barack Obama.
The operative word, Congressman, is if. We don't know if any of that is true. What I don't understand is how we are going to suggest, imply, infer, to leave him there to die while we speculate on any of these things. But let me ask you, because one of the reasons I was very happy to have you on, you served in Iraq, and we all found out what happened with the weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist. How do you feel when you see Dick Cheney, the proponent of that war, sitting up in judgment of this administration doing something as clear as bringing a soldier home that was held in captivity?
Dick Cheney still doesn't get it, Rev. He never got it, and he will never get it. And, you know, to be honest with you, I pray for his soul, to be honest with you, because, I'm just going to leave it at that. I pray for him because he needs to understand that he was part of one of the most strategically colossal mistakes in American history, that over 4,486 men and women died in the Iraq War, which was an unnecessary war, including 19 men that I served with the 82nd Airborne Division. And it was Barack Obama who came in after the Bush-Cheney administration left, who tripled the amount of troops in Afghanistan to smoke out bin Laden and bring him to justice. Now he's bringing those troops home. But for Dick Cheney and Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin, who, did a half term of governor before she quit on that job, to criticize President Obama for doing the right thing and to say things like he should be impeached. The law is you have to consult with Congress. Republican Congressman Mike Rogers, Rev, he's the chair of the Intelligence Committee in the House of Representatives, said, we were consulted. We were presented a plan of a prisoner swap back in 2011.
Right.
He did his job. It is now time to stop the politics.
Let me ask you this, Congressman, quickly. Those that served, 3 fellow officers that served with Bergdahl that have been very critical of him, what would you say to them tonight?
I'd say, gentlemen, thank you for your service. If this is true, let's do an investigation. Let's have you testify at his court-martial here on American soil. But let's bring him home first. Let's do what is our standard. Bring everyone home, because we leave no one behind.
Former Congressman Patrick Murphy, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rev.